Sunday, everybody. So, today's vlog, I was thinking about this, and I don't know why I haven't done this one together, with the gun ban in Deerfield, Illinois. Because, I don't think people are thinking, well, I know the people in Deerfield and others are concerned for the residents in Deerfield who are against this gun ban, and those who didn't voice their opinions who are against the gun ban. But I'm thinking about issues that are happening here in Louisville, Kentucky. People who are anti-gun and who want more gun control, more gun reform, they are, well, they're thinking about the government's going to protect them. And based on my own experiences of having somebody break into my home while I'm there, I made that 911 call more than once. I was in my home while somebody was breaking into my home, but luckily I was a gun owner, and he was only able to get through my garage door, not through the door that connected the garage door to my kitchen, which also had a deadbolt. I don't think that he knew that my front window in my great room had previously been broke right before my moving in, and I hadn't had it fixed yet. So, it took them over an hour for a police officer to get there during an active break-in. And these are the government people that the Board of Trustees think are going to protect the citizens of Deerfield. Now, I know that this doesn't just happen, in Louisville, Kentucky. I know this happens all over the place. Anti-gun people are highly expecting that their government is going to protect them, and they're not thinking about what's really going to happen. Their government will not have enough people on staff to answer or take calls for all the robberies that's going to happen or all the crime that's going to happen. I called last week before last, and I was sitting in my living room. It was a beautiful night, and I had my sliding glass door open, and all of a sudden I hear a shotgun. Most of us that have been around guns, shotguns, handguns, and all that, we can decipher between a handgun and a shotgun. So every once in a while, though, we'll hear some that we can't figure out where it's coming from, because you just hear it. And this one sounded like it was just like right outside my patio door. I called 911. Yeah, I hope you're not dead, and I hope there's nobody actively breaking into your home, because it took me over 2 minutes to have somebody answer just my 911 call. And these are the people that these anti-gun lobbyists and gun grabbers are thinking that are going to go and help you. If you can't get through to a 911 call before 2 minutes. What makes you think that a police officer is going to get to you before you're either dead, raped, or robbed? I mean, people need to use common sense. I mean, people want to, I keep hearing gun sense. I keep hearing anti-gun. I keep hearing we're not coming for your guns. We're not going to do gun confiscation. But that's exactly what's happening in Deerfield. So, when I decided to do this vlog, I thought, you know what? I was thinking about the 911 calls, because I've already done vlogs about these 911 calls. I've done them twice, because I got more information. And then I got to thinking, you know, these people in Deerfield are going to, they think that their government, their own government there in Deerfield, is going to be protecting them. Now, they have a little less than 18,000 people in their little democratic city, and you know, the smaller the town, the smaller the local police and sheriff department are. So do you think that if somebody is actively robbing you, do you think that the police, the 911, or the sheriff is going to get to you that much quicker? If it were me in Deerfield, I'd just be considered a criminal because I'm not giving up my Second Amendment right. They are breaking every law. They are not only breaking the Constitution of the United States, they are breaking state law. And a city cannot supersede state law, especially when they're breaking the Constitution of the United States. And I've said this again, a state cannot supersede federal unless they are breaking the Constitution. And that's what they're doing. When Obama tried doing this back in, 2013, our state that I live in said, no, that's not happening here. So, our Constitution supersedes federal on the Second Amendment. We have our full Second Amendment rights. And I think that's where lawmakers and other government officials, state government officials, are confused. I think they think that they can supersede if they choose, that they don't feel like that their people need to have all this, and that's wrong. And that's why Deerfield is getting all these lawsuits, and I bet you anything they've already got that $1,000 a day fine spent. And well, do you realize that this fine and this bill goes, you can get a jail sentence of 6 years to 30 years in prison for even just driving through and not having your gun or firearm broken down the way they want it. Their transportation law supersedes the new Illinois state law for law-abiding citizens who have a CCW from other states. Illinois didn't used to recognize anybody's concealed carry. There was like four of them that they recognized. And the reason why they didn't is because they didn't feel like that the training in other states was as good as theirs. So that's why they only recognize so many others. Now, when Trump passed the bill that there has to be, I can never pronounce this word, reciprocity or whatever, where other states have to recognize another state's CCW. Then that's when Illinois changed theirs March 3rd of this year. Whereas before, when I went through Illinois, which I have family in Illinois, and I was going to St. Louis because my daughter was having a baby, I had to call my brother-in-law and find out exactly what I had to do with my 380 because I was carrying it with me. And I knew that Missouri recognized my CCW, but Illinois didn't, and I wanted to make sure I was transporting it correctly without getting in any trouble. And at that time, I had to basically disassemble my gun. And if I came across somebody that wanted to kill me, take me for anything or whatever, I was just shit out of luck. Even though I am a legal CCW in my state that I live in. So now, the state law is, unless you're one of those 4 states, they will recognize all states CCW. You have to have your current CCW from your state. It has to be active, because anybody can carry a card and it can be taken away from you, but you know, it's like driver's license. Unless they come and take them away from you, they just don't even mess with it. They just, you know, it's in the system. They're not any good. And they can run them. So the thing is, though, is if you're not in that state, one of those 4 states, this is the only thing you can do. You can keep your firearm loaded. It can be in any of the compartments that is in the vehicle or in a gun safe. You can only take that loaded gun out of the car to put it in your trunk, or if you are having to stay overnight in the state, you can take it out of the truck or vehicle and into the hotel or wherever you're staying the night, and as long as it's not a gun-free zone, then back into your car. If you are sightseeing or whatever, you cannot carry it on your person. It has to remain in your vehicle and locked. So now they made it easier for the CCWs who are legal and from other states, so you can protect yourself, because your car is your personal property and it is your own space, and if somebody violates your space, you still have the right to take care of yourself. So, you know, and then this one little town or village wants to take all those rights, and they are superseding their state law, even on transportation. So, yeah, I don't see that happening. You know, and then their ban on magazines of 10 or higher, and it doesn't matter if the handgun or any gun can take less than the 10 round magazines. Most of in Illinois, and most of a lot of places where they're like, hey, any more than this in a magazine, we won't let you have. And, you know, they're not saying you can't have more than that magazine. You just can't have more than a 15-round magazine in most cities and or states. And, well, you know, that's fine. Most people don't even have more than a 15-round magazine anyway. But they're saying, even if it can take less, you cannot have that. And if anybody's read that bill, that's taken away a lot of the handguns. And so, most handguns will take up to 15 rounds. And that's normal. I mean, you can buy that up to that high of magazine. I don't know if you can get a higher one. I'm sure you could, but for me and my husband personally, the only reason I would see why you might want a higher magazine is if you're out on the range and you're shooting. Like mine, I have a little Sig Sauer P238, it's a little 380, and it came with a 6-round magazine. So I went up and I bought the extended one, a big 7-round magazine. But if you keep one in the chamber with the other one, you have, with the regular one that comes with it, you have 6+1, and then if you have the extended one, which gave me one more bullet, gives me 7+1. But when you're out on the range and you are shooting, that is the biggest pain in the butt, because you're constantly reloading. And usually when I'm doing that, my husband's reloading them for me. And the 380s, I don't know why they are, but they are expensive as hell. They are not a cheap gun range weapon to just be shooting and practice with. They are a nice conceal, but they are expensive to just be on the range shooting. They are nice. My 380 is a short 9mm, and it's also known as a 1911. But they're just expensive to shoot, but I love them. And so I thought that, I'll just go on and get this 9mm and see how well I like it, and maybe that'll be the one I take down to the gun range, because those are so much cheaper to go out and shoot, and go down on my sister-in-law's farm and shoot. But now that brings up another issue. Here in Kentucky, a couple days ago, in Bullitt County, a man lives in rural Bullitt County, and he has some acreage, and a man about 5 acres over was shooting targets. I don't know while he was shooting, and I can understand this man's anger, because a bullet just passed him and an animal from 5 acres over, and he wanted the county to do something about it. He didn't want gun ban. He didn't want none of that. He just wanted them to make them put something more behind a target, so that it won't happen again. It got shot down. There were angry people. I mean, this is a county that's one county over from me. Other people were chiming in, mad, and like, oh, well, this is what he wanted, blah, 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 and they were just angry, one person. Yeah, well, it only takes one person to get that gunshot, the bullet coming right by him, and then another one. That is no difference than, we've had this happen once or twice on the West End, because that's where most of our violence is. But for somebody to shoot and it go through a car and it go through somebody's house and kill a child, that's no difference. So people were angry, and of course it got shot down. Now, me being, I am a Second Amendment activist. I believe full-heartedly you should have all your rights, but I also believe, and this is law, that, first of all, if you're going to target practice, this is the thing that you're taught when you're getting your concealed carry. You are to look beyond your target. You are to make sure that there is not a person, anything, an animal, nothing beyond your target. You need to make sure you're shooting with the right ammunition, because some ammunition, like hollow point, will go through your target and anything else beyond it. And if you do shoot something beyond that target and it gets hit, you're responsible for it. So people getting all upset because he wanted something done about this, because if it would have went through him or his kids or his grandchildren, he was going to be a little bit more than angry. And you know what? I don't blame him, because now this is where things kind of probably draw on a very thin line. But if you're going to have a firearm, you need to have a firearm, you need to use safety, and you need to be responsible. Before you discharge that firearm, you better make sure you know where it's going, where it's going to land, and take responsibility. And that's what he was wanting for Bullitt County to do. There's nothing wrong with telling them, okay, you only live on 5 acres of land. You need to make sure, if you have somebody that's in this proximity of you, but you don't have anything on the other side of your land, you know, it's nothing but woods, then you need to shoot that direction. There is nothing wrong with that. So, you know, yes, there are things that need to be discussed, and that is one of them, and I don't see anything wrong with that. And that's not infringing on somebody's second rights. That is telling somebody you need to be more responsible, because, you know, this time you got lucky. Next time, you could have killed him, and you could be coming up on manslaughter charges. And, you know, you're not intentionally trying to kill somebody. You're just target practicing. But, you know, just because you're not intending, that is what could happen. And that was one of the first things that we learned when we were taking our CCDW. And, see, this is where people's going to disagree with me. Okay. I said this in a past vlog. I didn't get a whole lot of arguments, but, you know, there were some. Driving is a privilege, right? It's not a right. Well, I kind of feel that way with concealed carry. Now, before you guys start yelling at me, I want to explain myself first, okay? There are kids in school who are going through JROTC. They're being taught gun safety. They're being taught all of that. I had a dad that went, he went hunting, and I was taught with all of that. And then I went to ROTC, and I was retrained, and I knew laws. I knew how to shoot this. Then, during the summer, I went through summer drill, at Fort Knox, where I was taught how to shoot an M16, take it apart, clean it, put it back together the right way. If I didn't put it back together the wrong way, it was an explosive device. Same way with any gun. Anyway, this is how I feel about CCDWs. Well, concealed carrying. And one of my big ones was Virginia's. You can go online, do a test, pass it, get your Virginia's concealed carry. No on the gun range test. Okay, so you're learning. You're learning the. I guess you're learning the safety, maybe the laws. My problem with no on the range safety, shooting, or any of that is the fact that if you can't pass a target test, and that's just something being still, well, how are you going to shoot something that is possibly going to be moving? And that's my argument, because in Kentucky, our shooting test is you have to be able to shoot 11 out of the 21 rounds. I hit all 21. I hit in the stomach, the groin, and the head 5 times. I am good at shooting guns. It's like a bicycle with me. You stop, you get back on, and you go. But people need to be able to shoot in order to get their concealed carry. That is how I think, and I think that's the way it should be, because if you are out somewhere and something does happen, you need to know the laws, you need to know everything, and you better be able to shoot. I mean, what if you shoot at the bad guy and you accidentally hit a kid? I mean, I'm sorry, but that's where I think concealed carry needs to be, and you should have to do it on the range test. But anyway, yeah, so I kind of went off to 911 in Deerfield and now Bullitt County. But either way, it's all gun safety and all of that. Hey, I'm fine, how are you? So, anyway, it's all on gun safety, gun bans, gun confiscations, 911 calls, and so, yeah, I went off a little bit, but still, it's all the same thing, and, you can't, the whole point of the Second Amendment right anyway is the fact that it was brought and made by our forefathers because they couldn't rely on the government. They got away from a government that was controlling. So our forefathers gave us the Second Amendment to protect us from the government, and so that is exactly what the mayor and the board of trustees did to Deerfield, Illinois. They took away their Second Amendment rights because, well, let's just admit it, they're all Democrat cronies who wants to control their people. That's the truth. So, I don't know. It's just aggravating, and it infuriates me, and I would like to see more people speak up, but it's almost like some of the residents there are just not speaking up. It's almost like they're scared to, It's almost like they've been paid off or threatened or something. I don't know, but I'm just glad to see that they've got lawsuits, and those lawsuits are about them infringing on their Second Amendment rights, and they're not going to win, and they shouldn't. And that is it today, folks. My battery is already starting to die. I had to, I was waiting on this thing to charge up before I could even vlog, because I knew once I got started, I was going to get mad because it was going to die in the middle of it, and I was just going to start all over again. So, you guys have a good night, and I will see you guys in the morning. It looks like it is going to rain, and the temperature has dropped. I do know that. So, you guys have a good night. Please leave comments, suggestions, anything. Subscribe, like, share, and hit that bell so you will get all of the videos. I will talk to you guys later. Good night.